What's up, everybody? It is Broken Havoc here, right here on the Broken Havoc podcast. Here to review, finally, AEW Double or Nothing 2021. What are my thoughts on this show? Well, we finally got a full capacity crowd back for an AEW show. I'm so glad we got a full crowd for this show specifically. As a person, as a fan who attended WrestleMania, that being WrestleMania Night 1, which I enjoyed the show just because I was there live. As someone who attended WrestleMania this year, I will say Double or Nothing really blew WrestleMania out of the water. And that would sound like something what a Mark would say, but I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm just telling the truth. I honestly believe Double or Nothing blew WrestleMania out of the water this year. I mean, this show was awesome from top to bottom. Even from the buy-in, I mean, Serena Deeb and Riho absolutely killed it and got the crowd amped up for this show. But enough of me babbling. Let's start the review for Double or Nothing. Of course, we got the buy-in, Serena Deeb versus Riho for the NWA Women's World Championship. Overall thoughts on this match, I will say this was a really good match. Serena Deeb and Riho, as I said before, absolutely killed it. Both of them, I mean, there was a lot of back and forth going on in this match. The crowd was just absolutely amped up. Couple things that happened in the match, of course. We got a drop kick by Riho, a running knee in the corner by Riho. Riho goes to the top and hits a crossbody, which is actually pretty awesome. We get a cover into a near fall. Deeb tries to go for the Serenity Lock, but Riho gets to the ropes. We get a clothesline by Deeb in the corner, a slingshot on the bottom rope by Deeb on Riho. We get a couple uppercuts also by Serena Deeb. After that, we get an abdominal stretch. Riho begins to fight back. Serena Deeb avoids Riho in the corner. We get a neck breaker on the middle rope. We get a cover into a near fall. Deeb sends Riho over the top rope. Riho fights back on Serena Deeb. We get diving foot stomps by Riho in this match as well. We get a tiger feint kick or a 619 by Riho also in this match. We get a cover by Riho into a near fall. Riho reverses a submission attempt into a Northern Light suplex on Deeb. A cover into a near fall. Riho misses the diving foot stomps on the apron. We get many, and I mean many, dragon screws by Serena Deeb. I mean, she was really just targeting the knee of Riho in this match. We get a powerbomb by Deeb, a cover into a near fall, and this is near the end of the match because this was by far the best portion of the match, in my opinion. We get a Snapdragon suplex by Riho. Riho goes to the top. We get diving foot stomps again by Riho. Deeb counters into a running knee. Deeb applies a single leg Boston Crab. Riho gets her hand on the ropes. We get another dragon screw by Deeb, and there were a lot of dragon screws in this match. I'm just literally naming the important parts of the match, in my opinion, in my view. I'm not going to go through my entire notes, mainly because then the video will go over an hour, and I actually filmed this video before. I filmed this video another time, but it went over an hour, and I honestly felt that I was kind of boring the audience, so I'm going to try to run down the notes as quick as I can, but I'm going to only name the important portions of the match. Riho gets her hand on the rope, of course, another dragon screw by Deeb. Riho rolls up into a crucifix on Deeb. We get a 2 count. Deeb dives Riho's knee on the canvas. We get a Serenity Lock by Deeb, and Riho taps out. Serena Deeb retains the NWA Women's World Championship. Overall thoughts on this match. This was a pretty good match to start Double or Nothing. Well, it was not really the official show. It was the kickoff or the buy-in, as AEW would say. But for a pre-show match, this was not a bad match whatsoever. And I'm someone that really doesn't care about pre-show matches. I mean, especially in WWE, if a match is on the kickoff, nobody cares. It's a match that is not even important anymore at all. But this match, I mean, Serena Deeb absolutely killed it. I expected and I predicted that Serena Deeb will actually beat Riho for the NWA Women's World title. So that was a great match to start the night for Double or Nothing. Now we go on to the main card. The first match, Brian Cage versus Hangman Adam Page. As you know, these two faced off before on an episode of Dynamite a couple weeks ago. And surprisingly, Brian Cage actually won the match. Of course, that they were acknowledging the fact that Hangman dropped from the number 1 ranking to the number 5 ranking in the AEW World Title rankings. But I do believe eventually Hangman Page down the road down the road will eventually beat Kenny Omega for the AEW World Title. That's what I believe. I think he's the right opponent for Kenny Omega, and it completes the quote-unquote, in my opinion, redemption arc for Hangman Adam Page, because as you know, he did lose against Chris Jericho in that very first match for the AEW World Title 2 years ago at All Out. But enough of me babbling. Let's get into the match. So both lock up. Page goes after Cage. Cage works on Hangman. We get a clothesline off the middle rope by Hangman. A suicide dive by Hangman Page. Hangman jumps to the top rope, but Cage catches Hangman and sends him to the ring post. Sends Hangman on the guardrail. We get a kick by Cage in the back. Cage is working on Hangman in the corner. We get a couple chops by Brian Cage. Jumping knee strike by Cage. Continues to work on Hangman. We get a hammer throw in the corner by Brian Cage. A crucifix counter by Hangman when he was picked up by Cage. A clothesline by Hangman. Cage blocks the clothesline. Hangman Page clotheslines Cage outside the ring, but yeah. Hangman goes to the top and moonsaults Cage outside the ring. At this point in the match, Hangman is just over with the audience. The crowd is just chanting cowboy shit. I really love the crowd throughout this show, by the way. The crowd was just awesome. Hangman tries to do a Hurricane Rana on Cage, but Cage holds on to Hangman. Hangman is able to pull off the Hurricane Rana from the top rope. We get a cover and a near fall. We get a kick by Hangman. Cage kicks Hangman. Hangman tries to powerbomb, but it does not connect. Elbow by Hangman, a cover and a near fall. We get another elbow by Cage. Cage picks up Hangman. Hangman escapes. We get a rising knee strike by Brian Cage. An arm neck breaker by Cage. Cover and a near fall. Kick by Cage in the corner. Hangman fights back. Cage drops Hangman on the top rope. We get a suplex by Cage on Hangman on the elevated ramp. So the first of many spots that were on the ramp, which surprisingly there were a lot. I mean, the wrestlers throughout the wrestlers who were wrestling in this show really loved doing spots on the ramp. I do not know why. It was just a common theme with this show. Cage picks up Hangman and drops him from the top. We get a cover and a near fall. Cage tries to go for a buckshot lariat. Hangman counters and F5s, and I say F5 because it looked exactly like a F5. He F5s Cage. We get a cover and a near fall. A buckshot counter by Cage. German suplex, a buckle bomb by Cage, a jackknife cover by Hangman, a near fall. A spinning Liger bomb by Brian Cage. A cover and a near fall. Team Taz, Hook, and Ricky Starks come out. Oh yeah, and by the way, Taz is also on commentary, so he's literally just freaking out on commentary. Ricky Starks throws the FTW Championship in the ring. Brian Cage, eventually, he just gives it back because, as you guys know, Hangman told him, hey, bring your A game and basically fight like a man on Sunday, and this is exactly what happened, and we see that Brian Cage is actually not wanting the help from Team Taz. Cage throws the belt back at Starks. Cage throws Hangman. Hangman eventually lands on the apron and eventually hits the buckshot lariat for the win. Hangman Page beats Brian Cage in a really good match to start off the main card for Double or Nothing. Overall thoughts on this match. This was an awesome match to start the show. I really enjoyed it. Hangman Page, of course, main event level guy. Brian Cage, another wrestler who is, in my opinion, main event level material. I mean, my God, he was a former Impact World Champion. But who knows where this is going to take Brian Cage after. I mean, as you guys know, Brian Cage, of course, is now having some quote-unquote problems. Let's see where AEW books Brian Cage in the future when it comes to this storyline. I'm definitely looking forward to see what happens. All right, the Young Bucks versus Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Overall thoughts on this match. This match was awesome. From the moment that Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston came out, the crowd went apeshit, and they were just singing Wild Thing. And it literally gives you, like, the AEW audience really is a hardcore audience. It's not like the main roster WWE crowd where the crowd is mostly casual and very few that are hardcores. Now, granted, in some cities when you go to main roster WWE events, such as maybe Brooklyn or Chicago or Philadelphia, I mean, those are really hardcore fans and smart fans. I mean, but in every single AEW show, my God, every fan's a hardcore fan. It really gives you ECW vibes because, as you guys know, in ECW, the crowd was just apeshit. They would go apeshit all the time. Hell, they would sing Enter Sandman by Metallica whenever Sandman would come out to the ring. I feel like this is kind of similar to that with The AEW fans singing, of course, Wild Thing. But before the match even starts, Moxley and Kingston instantly attack the Young Bucks, which was pretty funny. As you guys know, they stole their Air Dior's from the Young Bucks because the Young Bucks be really blowing off a lot of money for really expensive sneakers and just fashion. I don't even know. But yeah, Kingston suicide dives on the Bucks while the Bucks were attacking Moxley. A brawl breaks out in the crowd and the match starts. Kingston drops Nick Jackson. We get a cover and a near fall. Chops in the corner by Kingston. Thumb to the eye and a kick by Nick Jackson. We get a drop kick by Moxley on Matt. A cannonball by Matt Jackson on Kingston in the corner. Nick begins to tag in. Double team attempt by both of the Young Bucks. Nick Jackson gets dropped on the top rope. Matt works on the left leg of Kingston. Now, throughout the entire match, the Young Bucks were just working on the left knee of Eddie Kingston. And I believe it was the left knee, but they were working on a knee of Kingston. And really, Kingston was really selling the injury. I don't even know if it was an actual injury. I doubt it was, but if it is, correct me if I'm wrong. My apologies. This match was awesome. We got a body slam by Matt Jackson. Moxley slides Matt out and hits a lariat on the outside. Nick sends Matt Jackson to the back of the ring. Nick tags in. Kingston catches Nick Jackson and hits an exploder. Moxley tags in, works on both of the Young Bucks. We get a pile driver on Nick Jackson, then another pile driver on Matt Jackson. We get a cover and a near fall. Moxley applies a bulldog choke. Nick Jackson kicks Moxley. We get a double DDT on the Bucks by Jon Moxley. A clothesline in the corner by Moxley. Carl Anderson begins to come out, and Kazarian just runs in out of nowhere and attacks Carl Anderson. Machine gun. So, yeah. Of course, a couple weeks ago on Dynamite, Kazarian said that, yeah, he's gonna like attack all of the elite and all that crap. So, nice little reference there. Matt Jackson sprays a couple of that. I don't even know what that was. A bit of that spray on Moxley. A cover and a near fall. Moxley at this point is busted open. Nick Jackson tags in. Matt and Nick hit a Meltzer driver on Moxley on top of the ramp, so another ramp spot. Moxley goes back in the ring. Moxley eventually wants more. We got a couple kicks by Matt Jackson, repeated right hands by Matt Jackson. We get a senton by Nick Jackson on Moxley. A cover and a near fall. Stomps on Moxley. Kicks by the Bucks on Moxley. Knees by the Young Bucks. We get a cover and a near fall. A headlock by Matt Jackson on Moxley. A couple right hands. Moxley fights back. Both Bucks once again take down Jon Moxley at this point. Matt Jackson tries to go. He goes, ooh, rah, like Roman Reigns, which was hilarious. He looked like he was about to go for that Superman punch. I do not know. Who knows? We got a super kick on the knee of Kingston. We got a cover and a near fall. Nick goes to the top. We got a senton, but Kingston gets his knees up. Moxley tags in. Super kick by both of the Young Bucks on Moxley. A sleeper hold by Moxley on Matt Jackson. A 450 splash by Nick Jackson. A cover by Matt and a near fall. We get a couple right hands by Matt on Moxley. Kingston pulls Nick out of the apron. Kingston and Moxley try to double team on the Bucks, but they don't let them. We get a Meltzer driver attempt, but it does not happen eventually. Doomsday Device by Jon Moxley and Kingston on Matt Jackson. Covering a near fall, we get a knee strike on Kingston by Matt Jackson. Nick tries to super kick, but Moxley counters into a paradigm shift. Nick counters into a sharpshooter. Nick tries to help Moxley, but Kingston gets pulled by Matt. Kingston hits a backdrop driver. We got multiple super kicks, so we got a super kick party going on. Paradigm shift on Nick Jackson, a cover and a near fall when Matt makes the save. A headbutt by Moxley and Nick Jackson, a kick to the head of Kingston, double super kick on Moxley, a King Kong lariat by Jon Moxley, a super kick party eventually by both Bucks on Jon Moxley, a BTE trigger on Jon Moxley, and then we get another BTE trigger on Moxley, a cover, and the Young Bucks win this match and retain the AEW World Tag Team titles. Overall thoughts on this match? It's one of the better matches of the show. I really loved this match. There were some portions of the match, and I predicted this in my predictions video, that I actually thought that Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley were eventually going to be winning the tag team titles in this show, but that did not happen. The Young Bucks retain the World Tag Team Championships. Overall thoughts, though, this was a really good match. I love the way that they were booking Moxley in this scenario, especially in the end where Moxley's just like, yeah, hit me more, hit me more. I'm not giving up. You can literally kill me and I will still get back up. This was awesome. I really love the story that they were telling when it came to Jon Moxley just not giving up in this match. This was a really good match. Of course, the Young Bucks retained the tag titles. I do not know when they're going to be dropping those titles. I do think still, though, they're going to be dropping it to Moxley and Kingston probably in the future. Who knows? But enough of me talking. We got the Casino Battle Royale. So, as you guys know, the Casino Battle Royale is a tradition for Double or Nothing. I'm going to go quickly on this match. There was a surprise, of course, the Joker. Lio Rush, he was a surprise, which was awesome. It was awesome seeing Lio Rush wrestling in AEW. I mean, of course, WWE did him mad dirty, in my opinion. Lio Rush was just treated poorly, in my opinion, in WWE. But enough of me babbling. Of course, the clubs enter first. Christian Cage, Matt Sydal, Powerhouse Hobbs, Dustin Rhodes, Max Caster from the Acclaimed, who got a huge pop. Of course, he did a major rap on Christian, Dustin Rhodes, and everybody else. And of course, you knew for a fact Dustin Rhodes wanted to kick Max Caster's ass, but that was hilarious. I'm just gonna name the groups who were in this match because there was a lot of stuff going on in the Casino Battle Royale. But the next group that came in, let's see, Matt Hardy, Dark Order, or 10 of the Dark Order, Powerbomb, Nick Comoroto, Serpentico. So that was the next group, and the later group after that were the Hearts. So the Varsity Blondes, Colt Cabana, Anthony Bowens from the Acclaimed, Penta El Cero Miedo, or Pentagon Jr., whatever you want to call them. They were the Hearts. And after that, let's see. There's a lot of stuff going on in these notes, so just let me check. After that, of course, we got the Spades, Jungle Boy, Mark Quinn, Aaron Solo, Eva Luno, and Lee Johnson. Lee Johnson and Aaron Solo didn't last long in this match. I feel like the MVP, though, of this match was Jungle Boy. I'll explain that later. And, of course, the Joker was Lio Rush, as I stated earlier. Awesome to see Lio Rush in an AEW ring. Who knows? Who knows if he's going to be signed to a contract with AEW? I mean, who knows? I predicted that Christian Cage was going to win this match, but that did not happen. But Aaron Solo and Lee Johnson were eliminated as soon as they got in. So yeah. So at this point in the match later on, and I'm going to shift over to the end, Cage and Jungle Boy were outnumbered by Matt Hardy's crew. We get a crossbody by Lio Rush on Cassidy. We get a Hurricane Rana on Mark Quinn. A Spanish Fly, a standing Spanish Fly on by Lio Rush. Stunner by Rush on Matt Hardy. Hardy eliminates Rush. So yeah, Lio Rush got eliminated. Hardy and his crew attack Jungle Boy and Christian Cage. We get a side effect on Jungle Boy. We get a lariat by Jungle Boy on Matt Hardy. Cage sends Mark Quinn to the apron. We get a thrust kick by Jungle Boy. Cage eliminates Mark Quinn. Cage tricks Hardy and eliminates him. Then Jungle Boy and Christian Cage are the final two in the Casino Battle Royale. We get a flying elbow by Christian on Jungle Boy. We get an enziguri on Christian. Christian drops Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy is hanging on the ropes. He tries to go for the kill switch on the apron. Jungle Boy, after that, makes a U-turn on the ring post and goes to the other side of the apron, and eventually eliminates Christian Cage. Jungle Boy wins the Casino Battle Royale. What are my thoughts on this match? I really, really liked this match. Of course, I didn't state everything that happened in the match, mainly because it was really tough to take notes, and I really was into the action. There was a lot of just stuff going on. When it comes to Battle Royals, I mean, it's really hard to really dive deep in really what's going on, mainly because, there's a lot of stuff going on, and, it's really hard to take notes. But overall thoughts, I really enjoyed it. I love the fact that, Christian put over Jungle Boy in this scenario. I really do think that Jungle Boy is going to be AEW World Champion in a couple years down the road. Do I think he's going to beat Kenny Omega in 2 weeks on Dynamite? No, I doubt it. He's not going to beat Kenny Omega. It should be predictable. He's not going to beat Kenny Omega, but I do think Jungle Boy is going to put a really good match with he's going to work a really good match with Kenny Omega, and I think it's going to be really awesome to see. But yeah, Jungle Boy wins the Casino Battle Royal, and the crowd is just amped up, and they are just humming. The crowd is just chanting, or singing Tarzan Boy. It was hilarious. But yeah, that was the Casino Battle Royale. I really enjoyed it. Now, here's a match that a lot of people were criticizing, and probably rightfully so. But I thought it wasn't that bad, but I do think that the crowd was kind of... by this point, the crowd started to die down a little bit. Anthony Ogogo, of course, versus the American Dream, Cody Rhodes. As you guys know, it was Memorial Day weekend. And, of course, you know, Cody Rhodes is dubbing his father's nickname, the American Dream. Of course, Cody Rhodes is known as the American Nightmare, but he's going to be using the American Dream name for this match. What are my thoughts on Anthony Ogogo? He's not bad in the ring. I really see, I mean, he is pretty green, but I mean, he did do a really good frog splash in the match. Of course, in the match it's not that long. I mean, we got a waist lock by Cody. Cody tries to avoid the right hand of Ogogo. We get a body punch, the body punch that they were selling of Ogogo on Cody. And I thought that was instantly going to be it. I thought Ogogo was instantly going to get put over by Cody, and Ogogo eventually won, but that didn't happen. We get an Olympic slam, a cover in a 2 count, a power slam by Cody on Ogogo. We get a couple knees by Cody on Ogogo, a big boot to the chest of Cody, a submission attempt by Cody, an elbow by Ogogo on Cody, a German suplex by Ogogo. We get a kick by Ogogo. Ogogo flips off the crowd, an elbow drop by Ogogo, a cover into a near fall. A cover again by Ogogo and a near fall, an uppercut in the corner by Ogogo, a lariat, a cover into a near fall. QT tries to interfere in the match, but Arn Anderson does not let him. Ogogo misses the elbow drop. He is working on Cody Rhodes at this point. He drops Cody, cover into a near fall. We get a kick by Cody. Cody gets sent to the bottom rope. He's selling the punch at this point. Ogogo is busted open. An elbow by Cody. A running bulldog by Cody Rhodes. A couple right hands by Ogogo. A springboard cutter by Rhodes. A couple right hands by Cody when Ogogo is on the top rope. Cody also goes to the top. We get a right hand by Cody by Ogogo. Ogogo goes to the top. We get a frog splash. And now this is the frog splash I was talking about. This was a really good frog splash delivered by Anthony Ogogo. We get a figure 4 applied on Ogogo by Cody Rhodes, which was an awesome figure 4. Of course, you had those woo chants in the crowd. That was pretty cool. We get a cover from a seated position by Ogogo on Cody, but we got a near fall. A headbutt by Cody. Ogogo counters the crossroads. We get a punch by Ogogo and then an uppercut by Ogogo. So, yeah. Cody's hands were eventually on the rope at this point. He drops Cody. We get a cover into a near fall. Cody fights back. And then we get a vertebreaker for the finish. Cody Rhodes beats Anthony Ogogo. A lot of people were kind of starting... I mean... The crowd still likes Cody Rhodes. I'm still a fan of Cody Rhodes, but I do think at some points when it comes to Cody Rhodes, I think he does put himself in situations that he really does not need to be in. I do think that Cody Rhodes needs to really, stop with those scenarios. Now, granted, when he puts himself in those scenarios, he always delivers a fantastic promo. If you want to learn promos from a really good wrestler, I mean Cody. One of the first names that would come to mind is Cody Rhodes. He's phenomenal with his promos, but I do think that if he continues doing this down the road, putting himself in these situations, now he's not going to go after the world title, but still he's putting himself in these situations that he really does not need to be in. And I do feel like if he continues to do this, fans will eventually turn on Cody Rhodes, and that's not going to be a good look for AEW, because then they're going to go, people are going to eventually call Cody Rhodes basically AEW's version of Triple H or Jeff Jarrett. I do not think that's the case, but hey, it is what it is. But Cody Rhodes is still awesome, and I'm still a fan of Cody Rhodes in my opinion. This match, I mean, I really didn't care for. Honestly, this was one of the matches that I really didn't like. I honestly believe that I just didn't know who was going to win. I actually thought Ogogo was actually going to be going over in this match because of the way that they were building Anthony Ogogo. But that wasn't the case. Cody Rhodes goes over in this match. Where does Anthony Ogogo go from after this? I mean, QT Marshall's faction, the Factory, I mean, I honestly do not care for. I mean, one of the main reasons why, of course, that there was a new faction led by QT Marshall is mainly because of the fact that AEW is eventually going to be introducing trios titles in the future. So, yeah. All right. Another match that a lot of people thought was really predictable, including myself. Miro versus Lance Archer for the TNT Championship. Of course, I mean, this match was not the best match. I mean, the crowd was flat out dead during this match. Everybody knew that Miro was going to go over. Who honestly thought that Lance Archer was going to win the TNT Championship just because he faced Cody in the very first match for the TNT Championship last year at Double or Nothing? I honestly believe I knew for a fact that Lance Archer was not winning this match, mainly because of the fact that Miro just won the title 3 weeks prior. I mean, he's not going to lose it instantly. I do believe that AEW is going the WWE route and what they did with Rusev when he held the United States title. I think they're going to give Miro a long, long reign. They're going to just have him be undefeated for a long time until eventually a new star comes in and eventually just quote-unquote, I don't want to say dethrone, but just beats Miro. You know what I'm saying? But the match starts. Archer takes flight and goes after Miro before the match starts. He works on Miro in the corner. We get a big boot by Archer, a springboard moonsault by Archer on Miro. Both fight it out on the outside. Archer plants Miro through a table. We get a belly-to-belly on Archer over the guardrail. Belly-to-belly for the second time on Lance Archer. Miro sends Archer to the ring. Stomps in the corner by Miro. Splash in the corner by Miro. We get a crossbody by Archer on Miro. A flying leg lariat by Miro on Archer. We get a couple kicks by Miro. Helicoaster by Archer on Miro. A cover into a near fall. Archer goes to the top. He misses a moonsault. We get a fall-away slam by Miro. A cover into a near fall. Jake Roberts then comes in with the bag. Of course, that has the snake in the inside. And then Miro goes right after and attacks Jake Roberts. And then we get a thrust kick by Lance Archer. Miro throws the bag with the snake inside and just throws it near the stage. He just throws it like violently. I don't even know if that was an actual snake in there, but who knows? We get a choke slam by Archer on Miro. We get a cover into a near fall. Archer tries to hit a blackout. Miro escapes. He works on Archer. We get a pounce. Shades of the alpha male, Monty Brown. Hope you guys get that reference. We got a pounce. I mean, Don West would go apeshit whenever Monty Brown would do that move. But yeah, nice little TNA reference there. Miro kicks Archer. We get a snap suplex by Miro. We get a thrust kick by Miro. Miro applies a submission. Archer tries to escape. Miro applies of course, a sleeper hold and sends Archer to sleep. Miro retains the TNT Championship. I knew this was going to happen. The whole crowd was dead. This was not a great match, especially when it comes to Double or Nothing. But everybody knew that Miro was going to be retaining the TNT Championship, so the crowd was dead. Who cares? But this was not that bad of a match, but of course, everybody knew Miro was going to go over. So, Miro retains the TNT Championship, and he's going to have a long run with that title. Who knows? Who can stop the best man, Miro? All right, now one of my favorite matches of the night. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's Championship. What can I say about this match? One of the best matches of the night. I really, really enjoyed this match. Amazing. Britt Baker, of course, is absolutely over with the crowd. She has improved drastically ever since she has turned heel. I mean, she's had tremendous matches. I mean, right off the top of my head, of course, I think about that unsanctioned match that she had with Thunder Rosa. Now, granted, it doesn't count because it was unsanctioned. It was a lights out match. But still, I mean, that famous look of Britt Baker when she's just bleeding, like violently. I mean, of course, she looks like she came out of a horror movie with that look. But Britt Baker is awesome. I really enjoyed that. This match was phenomenal. Both exchange hands. Shida goes for the attack with the knees. We get a roll through by Baker, a Tamashii by Shida. Both separate, both lock up again. A roll up by Baker and a 2 count twice. We get a waist lock by Shida, a bow and arrow by Shida on Baker. Baker tries to escape, a roll up attempt, a 2 count. Right hand by Baker, a drop kick that missed by Shida. Sends Baker to the guardrail, grabs a chair and puts it down. Shida misses a knee strike. We get a diving crossbody on Shida on Rebel and Britt Baker. Shida sets up Baker on the apron. Baker counters with a swinging kick on Shida from the apron. Stomps by Baker. Baker works on Shida. Baker curve stomps Shida at this point. Reba gets the gloves and gives it to Baker. Shida rolls away, but Baker stomps on Shida. We get a butterfly suplex by Britt Baker. We get a cover twice and a near fall on both attempts. We get a kick by Shida. Baker drops Shida on the middle turnbuckle. We get a cover by Baker on Shida. A near fall. Couple right hands by Baker on Shida. Shida fights back. Baker tries to block. We get a hammer throw in the corner and a knee strike by Shida. A sliding knee strike on Baker by Shida. Shida works on the face of Baker. Suplex on Baker. We get a cover and a near fall. Sliding knee strike, cover and a near fall. Baker tries to fight back. Both exchange shots. A kick by Baker. Enziguri by Shida. A big boot by Britt Baker. A neck breaker by Baker. Cover and a near fall. Baker tries to go for the stomp, but Shida counters into a submission attempt. A thrust kick by Baker. A sling blade by Baker. An air raid crash after that by Britt. Baker tries to go for the lockjaw. Shida counters. Britt escapes. We get a waist lock by Shida. A German suplex by Shida. A diving elbow strike by Shida. Cover into a near fall. Shida places Baker on the top rope. Tries to go for an avalanche Death Valley driver. Britt escapes. Shida hits a suplex on Baker. A cover into a near fall. Baker rolls up on Shida. Cover into a near fall. Rebel distracts Shida. Is it Rebel or Reba? Who cares? It's the same thing. Everybody gets confused. I mean, AEW acknowledges it. Baker gets hit with the belt. A cover into a near fall. A power bomb on Shida. Rebel distracts the referee. Britt hits Shida with the belt. Super kick and a stomp to the belt. We get a cover into a near fall. Shida rolls up Baker. A jumping knee strike by Shida. A Tamashi by Hikaru Shida. A cover into a near fall. Roll up by Baker. A near fall. Lockjaw applied. Of course, Hikaru Shida taps out, and Britt Baker is your new AEW Women's World Champion. What are my thoughts on this match? Phenomenal match. I really loved it. Of course, Britt Baker is amazing at what she does. I'm so happy that Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, won the AEW Women's World Championship. I mean, dude, she has improved drastically throughout this year, and the crowd just went apeshit. I went apeshit. I was so happy for her. Good job, Britt Baker. You're now a champion. Adam Cole's proud of you. Yeah, I mean, Britt Baker's the new AEW Women's World Champion. She went up. Tony Schiavone comes out and just hugs Tony Schiavone, which is a great moment. But yeah, I really enjoyed this match. One of the best matches of the night. Britt Baker is your new AEW Women's World Champion. Phenomenal match, phenomenal moment, and she's going to have a really awesome title reign. Who can stop Dr. Britt Baker, DMD? I got the answer for you. Nobody. She's going to have a long title reign, and she ain't letting go of that belt. That's just my opinion. Okay, I sound like a mark right there, but my bad. Britt Baker's awesome. All right. Sting and Darby Allin versus Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. This match was awesome. Sting looked great at his age, at 61 or 62 years old. Sting looked amazing at his age. He was great. We got a suicide dive by Darby on Ethan Page. Sky gets sent on the guardrail by Sting. Sky suplexes Sting on the ramp. Sting gets back up, sends Sky on Page. Then we get a diving crossbody by the one and only Sting, which is pretty badass. Then the match finally starts. Sting tags in. We get a double team attempt by Sting and Darby. Takes out Page and Sky. Darby tags in. Drops Page. We get a right hand in the midsection by Darby on Scorpio Sky. An armbar by Sky. Darby gets slipped to the top rope by Page, who is not legal. Cutter by Sky on Darby Allin. Ethan Page tags in, sends Darby in the corner, sends Darby in the corner again. Sky tags in, works on Darby. Darby tries to fight back. We get a backbreaker by Scorpio Sky on Darby Allin. Ethan hits an elbow on Darby Allin. We get a suplex by Ethan Page on Darby. Sky sends Darby in the corner. Sting tags in, works on both Sky and Page. Aubrey did not see the tag, so she sends Sting back outside the ring. Sky continues to work on Darby Allin. Ethan Page gets thrown. No, not Ethan Page. Darby Allin. Ethan Page throws Darby Allin in the front row of the crowd, which was pretty crazy. I mean, Darby Allin's known to take those really sick bumps. Sting tries to bring up Darby. Darby finally gets up and he gets back at 9. Page tries to go for the ego's edge. Darby tries to escape. We get a sleeper by Darby on Page. Page sends Darby in the corner. We get a stunner by Darby Allin. Sting tags in, works on both Sky and Page. A stinger splash on both Sky and Page in each corner. A code red by Sting, which is awesome. That was surprising to me. A near fall. Crowd chants, "You still got it," which is fucking badass. Darby tags in, goes to the top. Sky attacks Darby. Sting makes a save. Ethan Page attacks Sting. Page sends Darby on Sting from the top, which looked devastating. Ego's Edge counter and a Scorpion Deathlock on Ethan Page, an armbar by Darby on Page. Sky tries to submit Darby Allin. We get a couple shots by both Page and Darby while they're in their respective submissions. Both teams tag each other's partners. Sting faces Scorpio Sky. Both exchange blows. Kicks by Sky on Sting. Sting misses a Stinger splash. Sting, after that, hits a Scorpion Death Drop, and Sting and Darby Allin win the match. What are my thoughts on this match? This was an awesome match. He looked great. Sting looked amazing at his age. I mean, I don't expect Sting to wrestle like every week, but I mean, in big shows like this, he should be wrestling. Sting is phenomenal at what he does. Darby Allin also. I mean, this guy takes crazy ass bumps, but hey, he's Darby Allin. What can you do? But yeah, man, I mean, I really loved this match. I loved the diving crossbody that Sting pulled. I mean, that was my favorite portion of the match. I mean, the match didn't even start, but that was my favorite quote-unquote spot. I mean, Sting, that when he made that crossbody, I was like, yeah, that's classic Sting right there. But yeah, I mean, Darby Allin and Sting, I mean, Darby took that crazy fall in the front row, but he's Darby Allin. What can you do? So yeah, that was Sting and Darby Allin versus Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. That was an awesome match, by the way. So great match. Now we move on to the first half of the main event. Kenny Omega versus Pac versus Orange Cassidy for the AEW World Championship. Thoughts on this match? Phenomenal match. Of course, Pac tries to go after Omega when the match starts. Omega tries to leave the ring. We get a cheap shot by Omega on Cassidy. Pac works on Omega. Omega attacks the eyes of Pac. Boot by Pac. A double crossbody by Omega on Pac. Cassidy comes in the ring with both down. Then he tries to cover both Pac and Omega, which is hilarious. 2 counts on both. A double head scissors by Cassidy. A suicide dive on Pac by Cassidy. A swinging DDT by Cassidy, covering a near fall. Kenny tries to clutch Omega in the corner. Hurricane Rana by Pac by Omega. Moonsault on Omega on the outside by Pac. Pac works on Cassidy in the corner. Pac goes to the top. A shotgun drop kick. Multiple shotgun drop kicks on Cassidy and Omega, and then he eventually did a shotgun drop kick on both Cassidy and Omega at the same time. Works on Omega. We get a back elbow by Omega on Cassidy, a backstabber on Cassidy by Omega. Omega works on Pac, a side suplex by Omega on Pac, a cover and a near fall. Chops by Omega, chops by Pac again. Elbow strikes exchanged by Omega and Pac. Omega sends Pac in the corner. We get a roll up by Cassidy, a 2 count. A tilt-a-whirl backbreaker by Omega on Cassidy. Chops by Omega, a backbreaker by Omega, cover and a near fall. Elbow in the back by Cassidy on Omega. No, by Omega. Cassidy, we get a back elbow by Cassidy on Omega. Baseball slide by Omega on Pac and Cassidy. A somersault by Omega and Omega on Pac and Cassidy on the outside. Cassidy counters a stun dog millionaire on Omega in the ring. Cassidy tries to go for a beach break. A roll-up attempt exchanges by both Omega and Pac. 450 splash by both Omega and Cassidy. After that, a Snapdragon suplex on Pac. And then another one on Cassidy. A second Snapdragon on Cassidy. A V-trigger on Cassidy. Pac counters the V-trigger with a released German. Boot by Pac. A V-trigger on Pac. A thrust kick by Pac on Cassidy. Omega hits a lariat on Pac. A V-trigger on Cassidy in the corner. Sends Cassidy to the top. Omega tries to go for a Snapdragon suplex on Cassidy off the top. Cassidy fights it out. Pac comes in. Release German on Omega by Pac off the top. Cassidy is still on the top. We get a somersault off the top by Pac outside the ring. Omega hits a Tiger Driver 98. Covering a near fall. Omega catches Pac. We get a German suplex by Pac. Omega catches Pac at this point. German suplex on Pac by Omega. Covering a near fall. Omega is exposing the knee at this point. Knee on Cassidy by Omega. A second knee on Cassidy. Cassidy puts his hands on his pockets and flare flops Cassidy style. Pac works on Omega. Chops by Omega. A V-trigger by Omega. We get a Michinoku driver by Cassidy. Pac drops Cassidy with a driver, a cover and a near fall. Pac goes to the top with Cassidy. Omega interferes with Cassidy and sends out Cassidy to the outside. Omega picks up Pac to the top. We get a sunset flip by Pac on Omega. Pac goes to the top with Omega. An avalanche Falcon Arrow on Omega by Pac. Cassidy takes Pac outside the ring. A cover and a near fall. Cassidy is close to stealing the win. Pac is behind Cassidy. Cassidy kicks on Pac. A low blow after that. That was hilarious. That was one of the best spots of the night. It was not really a spot. I mean, Cassidy was just doing his Cassidy-style kicks, and then instantly Pac just low blows the crap out of Cassidy. Pac takes out Omega on the outside. He goes to the top. We get a Black Arrow, cover by Omega, by Pac, but Omega saves himself from losing the title. Roundhouse kick by Pac on Omega. Pac goes to the top. A Black Arrow misses. Omega tries to go for the one-winged angel. A brutalizer by Pac on Omega. Cassidy comes in. An orange punch and a beach break by Cassidy on Omega. A cover and a 2-count near fall. Pac comes in. Kick by Pac on Cassidy. A low blow cut by Cassidy. A Liger bomb countered into a beach break, which looked badass. That was awesome. One of my favorite spots. Orange punch on Cassidy. Orange punch on Pac. Cover by Pac but Don Callis takes the referee out of it. Cassidy goes to the top. Omega tries to prevent Cassidy from hitting Pac. We get a headbutt on Omega, and then a second headbutt on Omega. Cassidy tries to go for a diving DDT, but Pac counters into a brutalizer. Omega kicks Pac. Pac is not letting go at this point. Omega double axe handles the referee. Callis gives the Impact World title on Omega and hits it on Pac. Omega takes the AAA Mega title and hits it on Pac. Omega then hits the TNA World title and hits it on Pac. And then Omega hits the AEW World title and hits it on Pac. We get an orange punch on Omega. We get a cover and a 2 count. But right after that pin attempt, we get a crucifix pin because Omega eventually got Cassidy's shoulders down for the win. So Omega steals Cassidy's win, and Kenny Omega retains the AEW World Championship. What are my thoughts on this match? This match was awesome. One of the best matches, if not the best match of the night. I mean, all three men were phenomenal. I feel like the MVP of this match was not Pac, was not Kenny Omega, it was Orange Cassidy. And a lot of people always doubt Orange Cassidy for being, he's not a pro wrestler. No, Orange Cassidy can wrestle. I don't care what anybody says. Orange Cassidy can wrestle. Phenomenal. Of course, Omega stole that win right there because he's a heel, and that's what heels do. But yeah, phenomenal match. I really loved this match. A lot of back and forth going on. I mean, a lot of brutalizer going on. Those shotgun drop kicks by Pac was phenomenal. I love the fact that he went on first Cassidy, then Omega, and then on both at the same time. So that was pretty dope. So yeah, that was the three-way match. Now, well, actually, one little thing. Tony Schiavone's in the ring at this point, and he announces, of course, AEW Rampage, which I talk about in my 2 Dynamite reviews ago. So, yeah. Then he announces a new analyst signing, and it's none other than Mark Henry. So, Mark Henry is signed with AEW. Awesome. I'm glad he's in it. I don't think he's going to be wrestling because I think he's retired. But he's going to be in this analyst role, so he's going to contribute a lot to AEW. So, that's awesome. I like that Mark Henry's coming in. So, yeah. Now, we're going to go on to the main event, which is by far one of the best matches I've seen all year. I don't even want to consider this a match, but it is a match. The Stadium Stampede, the Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle. I'm going to dive deep right on the match right away, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts. So, the Inner Circle, first off, MJF comes in from a limo, and then the Inner Circle, he's alone in the limo. So then the Inner Circle after that are coming down the scoreboard in such a badass entrance. The Inner Circle instantly run to MJF. MJF gets inside the limo. The Pinnacle's on the truck from FTR. Both factions brawl in the stadium. Guevara and Spears are in the ring. We get a cover by Guevara on Spears. Running boot by Wardlow by Guevara. Guevara misses the shooting star press. A blue thunder bomb by Shawn Spears. MJF comes out to the limo. Jericho's behind him. Both brawl. FTR and Santana and Ortiz are going up the stadium. MJF extinguishes the fire extinguisher on Jericho. Jericho chases down MJF at this time. Jericho and MJF are in the inside of the stadium. MJF sends hot coffee in the face of Jericho, so they're in the Jaguars' offices. He hits 2 trays in the head of MJF, crashes the table through the ribs of MJF. Jericho's dominating at this point. The football coaches give footballs to Chris Jericho, and he throws it at MJF, so that was hilarious. I believe that was the Jaguars coach. I don't even know his name. I don't watch football. Jericho sends MJF through a door. Wardlow and Hager brawl. Wardlow tries to lock him in the freezer, which is hilarious. Both Wardlow and Hager are on the freezer. Hager drops Wardlow on boxes. Hager flips off. He gives the middle finger to Wardlow. Wardlow spears Hager through the kitchen. Guevara and Spears at this point are fighting in the area of chairs. So like literally Shawn Spears. This was such a cinematic thing. Like he sees Guevara sees Shawn Spears and he's just sitting in the chair with just a pile of chairs. That was pretty dope. Guevara they're both fighting in the area of chairs. Guevara counters Spears within a spinning kick. Rider kick by Guevara. Spears sends Guevara on the garbage door. Spears grabs a chair. Both continue to brawl. Spears grabs the cables, but Guevara strips the cable in the throat of Spears. He drops the ladder on Guevara. Spears later handcuffs Guevara. He finds himself shackled. So Guevara eventually, as soon as Shawn Spears leaves after he was handcuffed, Guevara finds the shackles and frees himself. Then we got FTR and Santana and Ortiz in the club, which was my favorite moment of the match. I loved the fact that these two were just in the club together and just fighting it out. First, they drank, I don't know what that was. I think that was tequila. They were drinking tequila. You know, you had Tully Blanchard in all dressed up in attire looking like it was the Bunkhouse Stampede, which is hilarious. We find out that Conan, of all people, is the DJ as well, so that was pretty awesome. I love the fact that Conan was in this match, too. We get a cover by Ortiz on Dax Harwood. Tully tries to get involved, but Conan does not let him. Both are continuing to brawl. Cover by Santana. We got a 2 count. Cash Wheeler throws beer bottles at Ortiz. Ortiz and Wheeler fight through the elevator. Wardlow and Hager continue to brawl. Hager chokeslams Wardlow through the wood. Jericho and MJF continue to brawl through the area of the Jaguars. He hits a life-size photo of Tony Khan's father, Shad Khan, and just hits it on MJF. That was one of the funniest things of the entire match. He sends MJF on the rails of the steps in between. Jericho hits a spotlight on MJF. We get a powerbomb on the wooden platform. Spears is running and he's getting chased on a gold cart. Spears is sent with the cart. Both at this point are headed in the crowd, and both Spears and Guevara are in the ring. So this match went from being an empty, like just nobody in the crowd, just both of them fighting, to the crowd, which I loved. I loved that story that they were telling. It was phenomenal. I just loved that. I love the fact that they brought in the crowd. I mean, I was listening to Brian Alvarez. He was stating like this was basically the story of where we were and where we got when it comes to, from the match starting off being in an empty stadium to them moving on to a full capacity crowd. So that was really awesome. That was what Brian Alvarez stated. That's Brian Alvarez. That's what he stated. And I totally agree. I love the fact that they were in the crowd at the end. We get a chair shot on Sammy Guevara by Shawn Spears. Spears grabs the chair. Sammy at this point flips off Shawn Spears. Guevara gets hit with the chair. We get a cover into a near fall. Then Sammy hits a GTH. Guevara sends Spears head first on the chair. We got a 630 senton. The Inner Circle win Stadium Stampede. What are my thoughts on this match? This was one of the most entertaining things I've ever seen. It goes to show you why AEW is different and they're not afraid to take risks. Now, granted, AEW does have problems that they need to fix. Their production, it's fine, but like they make minor mistakes that fans remember for ages. And whenever they do a big moment, they always tend to mess it up. But that wasn't the case with this match. The Stadium Stampede, in my opinion, I thought this Stadium Stampede was much better than last year's Stadium Stampede. I love the fact that this went from being a match in an empty stadium and then the match finishes off into a full crowd. Phenomenal. I love the fact that the crowd was singing Judas. Of course, Sammy Guevara was the one that got the win because he cost the Inner Circle blood and guts a couple weeks ago. And I love the fact that, they were just celebrating. The crowd was singing Judas. And the show went off the air. So, yeah, overall thoughts on this match, phenomenal match. I really enjoyed it. Amazing match. This entire show was by far one of the best shows I've seen all year. And that's saying something. Like, I attended WrestleMania Night 1. I did not attend Night 2, but I attended Night 1. And I enjoyed myself watching WrestleMania. I thought WrestleMania this year was not that bad. I don't consider last year's WrestleMania a WrestleMania. I literally just erased that from my memory. But this year's WrestleMania was not bad. But I do think Double or Nothing really blew WrestleMania out of the water. especially because Double or Nothing had a full capacity crowd. But that's besides the point. Double or Nothing was a amazing show. I really loved this show from top to bottom, except for the Miro and Lance Archer match. And if you would say that Anthony Ogogo and Cody Rhodes, those two matches, I felt like a lot of the crowd didn't really care for those matches. In my opinion, I didn't really care for those matches. But the rest of the card, phenomenal. Of course, we got Kenny Omega retaining the AEW World title and Britt Baker. Well, the Young Bucks first. The Young Bucks retaining their tag titles. And save Britt Baker for the final. Britt Baker, of course, winning the AEW Women's World Championship. So that was pretty badass. That was my Double or Nothing review. Amazing show. I loved it. I loved every second of the show. Watching it and seeing the live audience was a dream come true. And I hope this continues on further down the road. So, yeah, this was Double or Nothing. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that notification bell, and subscribe. So, yeah, this is Broken Havoc from the Broken Havoc podcast. Signing out.